Hey everybody, it's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
This week, a little hurt from our friends.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Commander's Brew Commander Podcast. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I haven't done the math. Is this the last time we're recording in 2017?
It is. Yes, it is.
Yes.
This is the last one. So it's episode 126.
Yeah.
Of the Commander's Brew Podcast. It's our last episode of 2017. This means that this is our last episode of this calendar year. This is the first full calendar year we've done the show, right?
Is that true?
I think so.
I think you're right. Because we're not 2 years old yet. Therefore, we started partway through 2016.
Right? Like maybe.
Is that how it works?
Maybe kind of early in 2016. And right? So that way we're like over 100.
Yeah. But we're over two. Wait, we've done over 2 years worth of episodes.
Yeah.
So that can't be right.
That can't be right. Well, we'll see.
I should know when we started this. I feel like that's something I should be aware of.
It should be something we're all aware of, really.
Yeah.
As a group.
As a group, yes.
But yeah, well, here we are at any rate at the end of 2017. It was a great year. Oh no, we started this podcast. I can tell you exactly when we started this podcast. It was July 9th, 2015.
So definitely already one calendar year.
Yeah, we've already been one calendar year. This is our second calendar year.
Wow.
Not bad. Go to bed, everyone.
Go to bed 2017.
Yeah, go to bed. We're putting it to bed here. We're putting her to rest. Although this is not what you might assume as that the year-end podcast would be. I think we're actually going to save that for next week.
Yes, because what if something huge happens in the next 3 days?
That's the problem I have with every year-ending show, is that like it'll be like, oh, it's December 28th. Let's do the year in review. Well, you're going to miss 3 days doing that. You don't even know.
You don't even know. Yeah, sure. Most people are totally low key because it's in between Christmas and New Year's. Nobody's doing much of anything. So you might think there's nothing to report on, nothing to talk about. But no, nope. You never know.
You never know. You got to save. You got to keep those last couple days open. And yeah, sure, no one's doing anything and there are no big events planned and everyone's just kind of chilling out and waiting for that new year to hit. But you never know.
And you know what you're going to get? I'm going to give you a preview. You're going to get an exclusive segment from the Commander's Brew podcast that nobody else gives you. It's the December 29th through 31st lockdown.
That's right,
segment.
The lockdown segment. What happened in those 3 crucial days at the end of the year that everyone else skips?
No one else gives you that, but We're going to give you that. Will it be a long segment? Probably not. It's only 3 days.
Yep. I mean, we got 362 days to go through, so maybe those last 3 days is going to be a relatively small part of the show. But we will be the only ones bringing you that exclusive content of what happened in those last couple days of the year.
Yep.
So everyone stay tuned for that. So this is we're just doing a deck. We're doing a classic deck just like we always do, $50 or less, budget EDH/Commander. Trying to keep most individual cards under that $5 range. But there's an exception here and there if it makes a lot of sense for the deck. Yeah, that's what the show's all about. You've been listening for 2.5 years now, so you should know that.
You should know that. You should also know that for most of that, we've been sponsored by the Wizards Tower.
Oh, wow.
Great place to buy cards online. We also have a more recent sponsor in Ultimate Guard, Sleeves and Boxes. I'll tell you about a couple of new Ultimate Guard products that came from Santa
Oh, I got some
this
Ultimate
year.
Guard products from Santa too.
And of course, our Patreons, our patrons through patreon.com. That's a wonderful way to support the show. But if you're just looking to support the show in a normal way, tell a friend. Give us a like on YouTube or Facebook or Twitch or the way all those things work. Whatever their term of approval is, whether it's a subscribe or a like or
Yeah, whatever it is, however you express the liking, go ahead and do that.
yeah,
Because
express the like.
it always helps. And obviously every podcast says that, but they say it because it's true. It really does help us with our shows. So great, Sean. So
You want to hear an ad from the Wizard's
yeah,
Tower?
let's get into an ad. Why not?
Okay. My name is Richard Attenborough, and welcome to Planet Ixalan. Look as we have a little snake trying to slither around, but it won't live long because it is being hunted by dinosaurs and vampires and merfolk and pirates. Go, snake. Can you escape, snake? I don't think so. Oh, look at that. It got eaten. Now, a little fox scampering around in the snow. Is there snow on Ixalan? Yes, there is. This is my show. I say that there is snow. And look, it's being hunted by pirates, vampires, dinosaurs, and merfolk. Run, little fox. No, it got eaten. This is what planet Earth is all about. And so it's also what planet Ixalan is all about. Cute things being chased so you feel sad for a little bit, and sometimes they get away, but sometimes I remind you that that's nature for you. Everything is part of a cycle. I'm very green in that way. Richard Attenborough is a green creature for sure. Look at this city landscape. It confuses the little marmot. The city lights and the Wizard's Tower with its free shipping to Canada and the US. 5% off if you use coupon code BREWSmas for December, but you're almost out of time. Now you basically have to use Brew Year, and you get 3% kickback on your next order. What a great deal! Except for the marmot. Oh, it got eaten by a pirate and a dinosaur and a merfolk and a vampire. Tune in to Planet Rivals of Ixalan to see if we have new creatures. I doubt it. Aha.
Yes.
Now, you may be thinking, hey, isn't the main person of Planet Earth David Attenborough? Didn't that guy say he was Richard Attenborough, which is a common mistake, as in the guy from Jurassic Park? Well, this is from Ixalan. It's a whole different show, so it's a different person. So it's not a mistake.
It's not a mistake. It was definitely on purpose.
Definitely didn't realize that until trying to download images for the YouTube version of that.
You're just like, hey, wait a second. I'm not talking about the guy from Jurassic Park. What? Oh, no.
Wrong Attenborough.
Wrong Attenborough.
Except it's the right Attenborough because it's Ixalan.
No, exactly. No, they meant to. Yeah, no, listen, it was meant to be that, and we all know that. And everything's fine about that.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I mean, this is a part of the show where we usually do a light catch up on what we've been playing, what we've been doing.
Just a light Heinz ketchup.
Yeah, a light ketchup. Yeah, less salt than.
Yeah, less salt, less sugar.
Although if you've been watching the YouTube streams, you know that there's always quite a good amount of salt.
I mean, I'm not going to go through resolutions yet, but one of them is to be either less salty or more salty. I'll let you decide.
Did I say on stream or did I say YouTube? I meant on stream. On Twitch.
Yeah.
Always a healthy amount of salt over there.
But healthy amount of salt.
Or an unhealthy, I guess you could say. I guess that would be more accurate.
Yeah, the quantities of salt we get, that I'll own it. I get very salty.
If you haven't seen Sean play something on stream, you have to, because it's just such a departure of the well-mannered, like even keel, super nice guy that you're used to on the podcast. It gets blue over there.
It
It
does.
gets a little blue. It's definitely, sometimes it's not really for kids. Some of the
Oh,
curse words come out when Sean gets a little frustrated, but I promise you, it's very funny all the time.
I'm a real Jekyll and Hyde about it.
Yeah, he is. That's true. You are. You definitely are. Yeah. So, the holidays have just passed, so I haven't had much time to play Magic. I've been traveling a lot to my in-laws' place and then back to my parents' place for Christmas and everything. But like you mentioned, did get some Magic gear for the holidays. I got an archive with 4 full boulders.
Wow,
Full archive.
that's the ultimate set right there.
Yeah,
Archive plus 4 boulders.
yeah.
That's perfect.
I mean, it was a excellent gift. I got
What
from.
color's the archive? What color are the
Ooh,
boulders?
it's a black archive.
Ooh, so it goes with every outfit.
Every outfit. It's your formal archive. And I got a white, like a dark turquoisey greenish one, a boulder.
Ooh, I like that one.
A purple one and a hot pink one. And I'm very
They
excited.
make hot pink now?
Yeah, I know. I didn't
That's a
know
new
it was
color.
one. Yeah.
Ooh, boulders always surprising. Always surprising us. Ultimate Guard with those things. Yeah.
What deck that you currently own, and the people at home can maybe tell us this as well, people listening in the comments or whatever on Twitter or whatever. What deck to you is your hot pink deck?
Oh, to me,
I have it like it sprung to my mind right away. I know exactly what mine is, but I want to hear what yours is. I want to hear what yours is first.
Okay, mine is what's her name? Is it Brea? I can't the 4-color artifact.
That's same for me. It's my Brea deck for sure.
Yeah,
Brea is hot pink all the way.
Because there's those hot pink laser beams coming out of her head.
That must be why I thought of it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, let's pop it up here for the YouTube viewers. But that is, yeah, you're right, because there's hot pink in this card. If you just there it is. There it is coming up in a second. There it is. Yeah, I guess that's why I thought of it. I was like, oh yeah, man, she's hot pink all the way. It's
Cool.
coming out of her like Ethereum hand. But anyways, what else? Do you guys have another deck that may be hot pink when it comes to what color you associate it with?
I mean, if we're just going by colors, it ought to be Boros decks because red plus white makes pink.
True, but there's like an electricity, an excitement surrounding hot pink that is like an emotional component of it.
Maybe
like.
Narset. I feel like Narset could be hot
pink. Like any Jeskai thing could be hot pink. The purple one, I always associate Grixis with purple because it's red and blue, but with black, so it's dark. It's red and blue mix, anyways. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, so Ultimate Guard, I'm upgrading all of my current deck boxes into boulders. Because they used to have such a huge selection of colors for their like regular plastic ones. They're not quite there yet on the color selection on boulders, but one day.
Oh yeah, well yeah, they'll I'm sure they'll get up there. You mean for archives?
No, the boulders. There are not as many colors of boulders as there are traditional like plastic fold open
regular
ones.
like the floppy ones. The floppy
Yeah.
ones. Right. They're getting up there though because there's a lot.
And I just want to. I feel like it just feels like the right thing to say for transparency that like Ultimate Guard didn't put us up to this.
No.
We just really love these things.
It's
like
true.
This is not because they're a sponsor. They're a sponsor because of this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we like them. That's why we went up to them. But this isn't sponsored content. We're just talking about cool stuff we got for Christmas.
Yeah.
So anyways, what was yours that you got? Did you already say?
Oh yeah, forest green archive, and I specifically because we don't have enough boulder colors yet, I just want to make sure I have all. So now I'm up to 2 of every boulder color. Although I don't know about hot pink. Yeah, I gotta check. There might be new colors out there,
but
there's
new colors out there. Well, you got 2 of everyone already. That must be a lot.
Well, no, 2 of sort of the major ones, like 2 whites, 2 blues, 2 reds, 2 yellows. I gotta branch out to the like forest greens and the dark purples and stuff.
Yeah. You got to get out there.
Starting basic, building up sideways.
Okay, so let's get right into the deck here.
So great. The theme is a little hurt from our friends. That does not make grammatical sense. mostly.
It
But
should be
this is
it should be a little hurt for our friends, right?
it should it it should. But I feel like this is a better connection to a previous episode called "A Little Help from Our Friends."
Right.
If you haven't listened to that one, go check it out. The theme of that one was all about making like a bunch of cards that when your opponents did things, it helped you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was bugging me. We didn't use the color black because I was like, I don't want to include things that hurt your opponents when they do things,
right.
Just that they help you. That was a distinct deck brewing choice. But it's been bugging me, Andy. It's been bugging me that all those cards are out there just asking to have a deck made out of them. So that's what this week's deck is. It was all about I'm trying to build the mirror, darker, evil universe version of that deck where all the cards are like, whatever your opponents do, it hurts them. Something bad happens to them. That's the theme. And since we definitely use black, but there's lots of stuff in a lot of different colors. This ends up being 4 colors, everything except blue. Blue's major contribution to hurting opponents is just making things cost more. But it's still in the realm of helping you. Like Ristic Study's the hallmark of that.
Right.
They have to pay more, but it gives you a card. That's not what we're looking for. So we cut blue. We have everything else. That means Saskia the Unyielding. This is our commander. Y'all know Saskia. Black, red, green, white. Legendary human soldier. 3/4 vigilance and haste. When she enters the battlefield, you choose a player. And whenever you do combat damage to that player, it deals that much damage to the chosen player again. It effectively doubles the damage they do.
Right. And we know Saskia does all kinds of crazy things with damage doubling and all kinds of stuff like that, where her wacky abilities get really, really, really crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the leader because of the colors. And you'll see that later on we end up using that ability a little bit as well. So let's get into it. Let's get into some of the best cards that hurt our opponents when they choose stuff, right? When they do things, right? Are you getting an image here? I had trouble loading this image up here.
Isolation cell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay, well, I can't load the image, but I can see the words. I don't know what's happening with my cookies or my cache or something like that. Well, how's your cookies and your cache?
Yeah, it's a problem with my baking and my bank account.
Yeah. I got cookie problems. I got cache problems. And I ain't talking about a computer.
What is going on in your life? The bakery I opened is it's going down hard. No one's really buying into it.
I mean, it's just a fact that like 50% of all new businesses fail in the first 2 years.
Yep.
That's
And I'm not a baker, so I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm having problems with cash and cookies.
Yeah. That's my new cop duo.
Cash and cookies?
Yeah. Cash is like the real cop who no, it's Tango and Cash. Which one was Cash? But Tango didn't come back, but there's a new one called Cookies and it's Kristen Wiig.
And the Cash is spelled CACHE. So it is the internet Cash.
Yeah.
Cookies and Cash.
Who was Cash from Tango and Cash? Was it Stallone or was it?
So it was Stallone and Kurt Russell?
Yeah.
Is that Tango and Cash?
I'm pretty sure that's Tango and Cash.
I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen it either. It's probably very bad, but I want it to be so awesome.
I don't even know anything about it other than that they're cops.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. I should know more about Tango and Cash.
You know what? That's going to be my New Year's resolution. Watch Tango and Cash.
It confirmed it is Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell, at least. Man, how have I never seen this movie? All right. We'll get on that for sure then.
Okay. Yeah, well, we were on Isolation Cell.
Sure, I guess.
So, Isolation Cell is an artifact that costs 4, and whenever an opponent casts a creature spell, that player loses 2 life unless he or she pays 2. So there you go. I mean, it still makes it more expensive, but there's a real penalty for doing it.
Right.
Your opponents will I assume your opponents will ignore it a few times early on in the game because they're just like, whatever, I can afford 2 life. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of what we want. We kind of want them to hurt themselves a little bit because Saskia can really hammer home some of that damage. Saskia is really part of the big picture win condition here.
Right. After that, we've got this is a great card, Painful Quandary. 3 black for the enchantment that says whenever an opponent casts a spell, that player loses 5 life unless he or she discards a card. This is like the ultimate hurt your friends or hurt for our friends card, because it's both sides are painful. It is a painful quandary, truly, right?
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that 5 life adds up so quickly, and then and you can just never keep a hand with this, because whenever an opponent casts a spell,
Yeah.
Ugh.
So you lose a card before it resolves, or right? And the way it's worded, you don't out of it once you're empty-handed. Like once you're empty-handed, you just have no choice.
Yeah.
So you will always lose 5.
So yeah, the default is that you lose 5 life. The way you avoid it is discarding a card. So if you can't discard the card, you're just losing that life.
That card is for sure the inspiration for this deck, is this card right here.
Right on.
Another card that really is kind of painful is Rurik Thar the Unbowed. 4 red-green for a legendary Orc Warrior. He's a 6/6 with Vigilance and Reach. Vigilance is very cool. Must attack each combat if able. Saskia don't mind that. Saskia likes people who attack. Since there's Vigilance as well and Reach, I'm honestly surprised that they let Rurik Thar be such a fantastic blocker. Like, give him Vigilance and Reach is like the best blocking combo.
Yeah.
Anyway, whenever a player, that also includes you, casts a non-creature spell, Rurik Thar deals 6 damage to that player. Again, we're hoping we can get ahead on the damage thing. Our opponents effectively have less life than us because of Saskia in a weird way. So hopefully we can stomach those hits easier.
I love Rurik Thar. One of the first legendary creatures I opened. And I already had a Borborygmos in Rage deck going, and I was like, oh yeah, he'll fit in there, no problem.
Very nice.
The Unbowed?
Unbowed or unbowed? I don't know. Unbowed meaning he doesn't bow down to anyone. That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
Or unbowed because he doesn't use a bow.
He does not have a bow.
No, he doesn't have. He's also Rurik Thar the Unbicycled.
Unbicycled?
He also doesn't have a bicycle.
That's true. The unjet-planed, the unsushied.
Rurik Thar the Unspotify account.
He's on everything. After Rurik Thar, we have Spell Tithe Enforcer. 3 white, for an Elephant Wizard who's a 3/3. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player sacrifices a permanent unless he or she pays 1. So it's a Ristic Study type effect that your opponents probably will pay, unless they're in some sort of a sacrifice themed deck, in which case they'll probably do their best to avoid this one. But this is still something that's going to just add up, especially with your isolation cell. It probably serves more as a what's it called, like a tax than anything else. But like, it's rough. That definitely hurts. I actually have never seen this card before.
Yeah, we must have used it at some point. It's only a couple of gumballs. And I know what you're saying. Or like, is this any different than a Thalia that makes people pay 1 more? Probably, like, ultimately it's probably not the same. In fact, it's worse because it gives your opponents the choice where, like, if they're really desperate to like pay less, they can sacrifice a land they don't need anymore, maybe.
Right.
So it's not ideal, but it definitely fits the theme of the deck. And I wish there were more things like this.
Yeah, it definitely does. It's definitely a punishment if everything is going right.
Yeah, let's talk about Suture Priest. Suture Priest is 1 and a white for a 1/1 cleric. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain 1 life. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, you may have that player lose 1 life. Classic theme, right? They make creatures, they lose life. We like this. Saskia likes this a lot too.
Yeah, these little things add up a lot. I love Suture Priest. Anyone playing a token deck hates to see Suture Priest on the other side of the board, but loves to see it on their side.
The fact that it's a May does give you a lot of negotiation, because like you can make a deal and like offer up. It's like, okay, I'll let you cast your Prosh if you promise to do this for me, and I won't make you lose a whole bunch of life from Suture Priest.
That's true. That may trigger. I never even really thought about that before.
Yeah.
Next is Curse of Wizardry. 2 black for an enchantment that says, as Curse of Wizardry enters the battlefield, you choose a color. Whenever a player casts a spell of the chosen color, that player loses a life. So no like ifs about this one. No maze. This is a definite loss, but it's tied to the color, obviously. So I think like there's a couple ways you can go about this. Obviously, you can pick the most common color that's out there.
Yeah.
Usually, blue is probably a pretty good bet, but obviously depending on what your board's saying. Or you can really target someone with this, right? Like if there's one guy playing black and you pick black, it's like okay, well that's going to be you. Now it's also going to be you if you pick your own colors, and it's a 4-color deck, so you're probably going to hit yourself once or twice with this guy at least.
Yeah. Uh, I'm gonna be honest. This card has been cut from the deck, but I wanted to include it
Oh,
here
really?
as an example, because yes, it. We've covered cards of all the colors, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
already talked about cards in all 4 of our commanders' colors, and this one, it will hurt us no matter unless we pick blue, right?
Right.
That's the thing. And I really thought that like this is just not good enough at what we do, but it's on this list to illustrate there really isn't a lot of better choices here. And I was shocked to learn that cards that punish opponents and put them into like one of those choose wisely situations are pretty rare. Like there aren't that many of them that give them like awful choices. So I'm putting it in here to illustrate, but it's a 4-color deck. So to have access to them, we have to add all those colors, but that just makes this card even worse. So like this is a tough deck to brew. So we're going to change gears here and we're going to highlight another thing this deck is doing. This is part of the deck, but although it was the inspiration, there's more to this deck than just putting your opponents in tough positions.
Just as a weird side note, this card is from Curse of Wizardry. This card is from looks like Battle for Zendikar. No, sorry, Rise of the Eldrazi. And it's got Ailey in the art and in the flavor text, but she's not in that set. She's not in until Battle for Zendikar. That's neat.
Oh,
I love it.
wow.
I
I
love when they
never noticed.
yeah, I love when they do that. That's really cool.
That's cool.
Like you wouldn't know that that's Ailey until after the fact, right? Like until her card
Yeah.
came out, but that's her and it's her quote on it. Neat. Anyways, yeah.
Neat.
So we got a different angle that this deck ended up taking on. I love when we do this. I love when we start out with an idea, a theme to brew around. We do our best to brew that, but then we kind of either you hit a stumble on the way or you find out like, oh, actually, there's not as much as I thought here to really like to mine out for this. So sometimes you got to improvise in your deck brewing, and I guess this is what happened here.
So we've got a 4-color deck here. We're not using blue. That means if we want to do tokens, we have access to some of the all-star token cards. So let's talk about Twilight Drover, 2 and a white, spirit, 1/1. This is a token all-star. Whenever a creature token leaves the battlefield on any side of the battlefield, not just yours,
Yeah.
put a +1/+1 counter, and then 2 and a white, remove a +1/+1 counter from Twilight Drover, put 2 1/1 spirits with flying. Pretty good. This is a great token. Whenever a token leaves, you get more fodder to make tokens. You have to spend some mana on it, but this is a way to generate massive quantities of tokens for 1.5 mana per token.
Yeah, I really love Twilight Drover as a mana sink in EDH. Uh, Obviously, combined with some sort of sack outlet it's the best because you can just basically have however much mana you have, you can really start churning out the tokens. So yeah, this is we feature this a lot on the show, and it's for good reason. Is because it's cheap. It's a cheap card. Like how much is this card? Like not even a dollar, almost a
It's
dollar,
about $1.
about a dollar, and it's a fantastic token maker.
Yeah,
And like doesn't always seem like it's so scary. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's perfect. It's really really well placed in token decks.
indeed.
Next, we have for a couple of tokens is Oketra's Monument. We talked about the monuments a couple episodes ago, I think.
That's
And
what inspired me.
yeah, they're so good. They really are. It's kind of tough to work Oketra's Monument into a super heavy token deck because a lot of things that make tokens are spells, right? But if you got a nice mix of creatures and and things that make tokens and creatures that make tokens, then it's perfect. Oketra's Monument is the 3 generic legendary artifact that says white creature spells you cast cost 1 less. So that's great. That even That even works in our commander. That's awesome. And
Yep.
whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. Not bad. Vigilance, not bad. Nice little bonus.
And as the build is currently, we've got 35 creatures. I tried to put most of our token generators into creature form. Most of them, not all, but so this is gonna work most of the time.
This is great. I love it.
Yeah. Moving on, let's talk about Assemble the Legion. This is not a creature, but this card doesn't get enough attention, I don't think. This card is a must deal with. 3 white red enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a muster counter on it. Then put a 1/1 red and white soldier creature token with haste for each muster token, for each muster counter on it. So every turn you're just gonna get. It just grows so fast. And even if they wrath the board, fine. Now I've got 4 soldiers, 5 soldiers, 6 soldiers. They have to deal with this, or it will take over the game.
Yeah, it grows at a geometric rate.
Good.
It is 1+1 each turn. And the knock on Assemble the Legion is that it's 5 mana, and you basically get nothing the turn that you played it. So it kind of eats up a turn. We all know this about 5 mana do nothing enchantments. And it takes a while to kind of pay off, right? Your 5 mana doesn't really get paid off until that 3rd turn, really, when you have 6. You'll get 1, you'll get 2, and then you get 3. So then you have 6 tokens out, and that's kind of when it's paid off a little bit. But the thing about it is that it's a must answer. Like this thing must be answered, or it will just take over the game, like Sean said. These things get haste. I always forget that. If somehow your opponents have left you with an Assemble the Legion and you're getting 6, 7, 8 counters on it, the turn that they come in, they can attack. So you just simply need something to buff them up and go nuts. We all know about this card, and I think we all use it as Commander players. I think we're all pretty much in on it, but it's very good.
It is, yeah. And don't forget, we got Saskia at the helm, so each one of these will hit for 2 if they're not blocked.
That's right. Yeah. Forget about it. Assemble the Legion. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. You're next.
This one. Yes, I love this card. Oh man, I love this card. Okay. Mitotic Slime, 4 and a green for a 4/4 ooze. When Mitotic Slime dies, create 2 2/2 green ooze creature tokens with, when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 green ooze creature tokens. So it's just a classic dividing ooze here. So it starts as a 4/4. If it dies, you get 2 2/2s, and then if those guys die, you get 2 1/1. So ultimately, it takes 3 rounds of killing to get this thing completely off the board, because it doesn't just go away, it just splits. So you still have the 4 power and toughness on the board in some way. Man, this is an early card. So Sean, I remember this was in your cube, I think.
Yep.
When I don't know if it still is, but this card is I wanted to use this card so badly in a token deck, and I was like, I'd put it in, and I'd be like, you know what? I can't really abuse this card the way I want. I don't have sack outlets and things like that, so you know what? It's not that great. And then some time down the road, I put it back in that same token deck, my Tristani token deck, and was like, you know what? I'll just try it out.
Yeah.
I always want to use it, and I never do, so let's try it out. I got it out in a game, and it was a monster. So it sits there, and so even if I do have some sack outlets, but it's not crazy with sack outlets. So I didn't have any, but it just blocks. And then once you get tokens out, if you've got a way to replicate those tokens, and even if you don't, it just, this 4 power toughness just sits out there forever. And if you do have a way to replicate those tokens or populate or anything, it just grows and grows. It's very, very good. I love this card.
Yep. And that's 4 power and toughness 3 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then I'll remind you, we're running Saskia, so we don't mind running those 4 tokens, and they each hit for 2. They'll each hit for double if they get through. So it's block or don't, either way.
Yeah, if you're running a token deck, don't think you must have a sack outlet to make Mitotic Slime work. And vice versa. If you want to just have this in a sack outlet deck, that, especially something that pays off for sacrificing, as opposed to just being able to sack things. If you want to sack things for benefit, Twilight Drover is perfect with this, right? If you're sacking something and then you have that out as well, it's so good. But yeah, Mitotic Slime is perfect. Man, for those decks, it's so great. I love it.
Yeah. I want to talk about Night Soil too. We always got to have something to interact with graveyards. Night Soil is a great one. It's green for an enchantment, and you got to pay one generic, exile two cards, creature cards from a single graveyard, put a 1/1 green sapperling creature token onto the battlefield. This is right. So there's two of these. I forget what the other one's called, but like Night Soil is my preferred one right now because it's cheaper to activate, but you need to use two creatures. There's an equivalent one where you need to pay two, but you only need one creature for a sapperling. So it is a little trickier to deal with. Like, so if you're using this as an emergency, I need to get that creature out of the graveyard. If there is only one creature, you cannot use Night Soul on it. But for the most part, I think it should be doable.
I think it's pretty doable. I think it's pretty reliable. Obviously, this doesn't exile things that are not creatures. So if you're looking to do that, you need something else. But I think in general, Night Soil is a nice option for token decks to just generate a couple tokens, or just to be a reliable graveyard hate.
Yeah.
This is okay. So now we have some fun extras we got here. So some things to help get our stuff through, to help our tokens out especially. And this is a card that I think like rightfully so gets, is people aren't so stoked about it, but I like it a lot. It's really fun. Ankle Shaker, 2 red, white, black, for a Goblin Berserker with haste. He's a 2/2. It says whenever he attacks, creatures you control gain first strike and death touch until end of turn. And it's not other creatures, so he gets it too. So Ankle Shaker can just sort of get in there. You need at least 3 blockers to kill this guy?
Yeah, just to kill him, but like let's remember, like this is all under the lens that we are running Saskia and a bunch of tokens, right? Let's say like Assemble the Legion just spit out 3 tokens.
Mm-hmm.
I drop Ankle Shanker with haste out of nowhere, and now everyone's attacking with first strike and death touch. You either chump them and lose your stuff, unless you also have first strike, in which case you'll still lose your stuff. The only difference is I won't. I will also lose my stuff, and then the next. Or just take double damage from everything. This is this card is a massive swing out of nowhere for Saskia.
Obviously only works on attack, so isn't a great help when it comes to defense. But if we got a bunch of tokens in here, which are generally pretty good with defense, and then Saskia wants to attack a lot as well. So this is what you want to be doing. So this is why I like including a card like this in these like aggressive style decks.
Yeah. And then this one's super fun too. Fury Stoke Giant. 3 red for a giant warrior. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control gain tap. This creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player until end of turn. It also has persist, so if it dies, it comes back and grants that ability to all your creatures again. So, you got a bunch of tokens out there. That's basically a full kill on someone if you decide they can't get through on combat-wise. This is also excellent because Saskia, this deck is not built to bounce Saskia. So if you've already killed the player you've named with Saskia, you're going to need it. You can't, use Saskia's ability on someone else until you replay her. However, this is a great way to use all your little tokens and be like, well, that's fine. All my little Assemble the Legionnaires can't hit you for 2 by combat, but I can tap them and do 2 to you just for fun.
Super good when when it comes to talking about those Oketro's Monument tokens too, because those guys all have vigilance.
Oh baby!
So they can get in and tap, which is nice.
Yeah. If there's ever a creature who can't block with anyone, or a player, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Next we're talking about Archetype of Finality.
Yeah.
4 black 2/3 enchantment creature, Gorgon. Creatures you control have death touch, and creatures your opponents control lose death touch and can't have or gain it. If we're talking about defense, we're talking about Archetype of Finality being one of the all-stars when it comes to tokens. Everything you have will have death touch, and they can't do much about it. But also works. This is what I love about this card, is that it does also work on attacks, right? It dissuades blocking. And incentivizes your opponents to let damage get in which case that's exactly what you want. So I love this card in just about any deck, really. I think this card's great. It's a little overcosted for 6 mana for a 2/3, but the effect that it has, just think about it. The effect that it has, especially in token decks, it's pretty huge.
Yeah, this card definitely sucks just after a Wrath if you top deck it, But if you've got any sort of board presence like going, this locks it in,
Hmm.
right? Like this turns a sort of stalematey token board to like, okay, now this is pretty much lethal.
Yeah, yeah. Or can give you time to claw back, right? Like even if
Yeah,
you have 2 or 3 tokens, that can sometimes be enough to get back into a game.
yeah. Let's talk about Gonti, Lord of Luxury. I just ran this guy because I like having death touch creatures, right? Gonti is death touch, and whenever Gonti enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards of an opponent's library, and you get to pick one secretly, leave it secretly in exile, so only you know what it is, and you get to cast it at any time using any color of mana. I really just have this in here because I've never played with Gonti, and I really want to.
I mean, it seems like a fun card. Whenever you get to cast anyone else's stuff, it's always lots of fun. So I love it.
Like, there's good stuff out there. Let's have it.
This is like an interesting way of hurting your friends by taking spells away from them and using them against them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a very fun way of doing it.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like so in a way we've put our opponents in tricky positions with all the death touch and Saskia and stuff like that, but I gotta say, ultimately I'm a little disappointed that there isn't more just like hateful cards out there that just be like, choose a bad thing. There's not a lot of those.
Yeah, like I guess one way you could have taken this deck is basically like a Nekusar style thing for punishing your opponents for like drawing cards, right? Like that could be
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Um,
that's definitely a thing.
but I understand why you didn't because it's more about actions taken in game, like casting spells and attacking, and those are the things you want to punish because that's more the mirror of the deck that we had before, right? The help from our
Right.
friends. Uh,
Right. And merely adding tax onto things isn't really what I was looking for.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, it's like and then like the card because card draw is like basically involuntary, and I mean certainly you could throw a couple of those things in this deck, and I think it would make a lot of sense because for people who want to draw a lot of cards, it's going to be a real punishment for them. But yeah, I get it. Like I want some different effects. I want some different things to happen when people choose to play a creature or something like that. Like
Yeah.
more Rurik Thar type stuff, more painful quandary type stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think you did a good job of still putting together you know a pretty slick sort of aggressive deck here.
Yeah. I think it looks fun. I know a couple of test games here. It plays out pretty fun for sure. For sure. There's a lot of different angles. Should we talk about the 3 stars of the deck?
Let's do it. Yeah.
So the third star here is in here because of Saskia, right? This is the Saskia makes this card amazing. This is Aurelia's Fury. X red white instant. Aurelia's Fury deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. Tap each creature dealt damage this way. Players dealt damage this way can't cast non-creature spells this turn. I always forget about that part.
I
Get
always
block
forget about
people out of
that.
non-creature spells.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like if you need to like finish the job and you're afraid of counter spells or something, just start with a little Aurelius Fury, just like one to the blue players. Uh, but what this is in here for is like if an opponent has a decent board, you don't have to kill their creatures. You can just make them all tap
Mm.
and basically have a free attack with Saskia. That's probably a free kill.
Yeah, good call. This is a great card in a Saskia deck.
Yeah.
Number 2 star of the deck is a Painful Quandary. We already talked about this one. It's whenever they cast a spell, you lose 5 life or they discard a card. This is just a beating. This is a Painful Quandary. This is punishment at its finest.
Yeah.
It's serious. It's like 5 mana for this enchantment is, man, it's not a lot. Like considering that it's going to make people discard so many cards and or just start losing crazy amounts of life. I think it's really great.
Yeah.
I love Painful Quandary because even players that like are like, well, I don't care about this, and they might not care about it for a turn or two. Like, they might completely be able to pay 10 life or discard 2 or 3 cards, but it sticks around and it does a lot of damage. And some players are just gonna be in a position where they don't want to do either of it, and then those are the ones who really get punished.
I've played against this card enough times to know it always feels so bad
It becomes
So bad.
it becomes the number one thing you want to get rid of on the board if you're playing against it, for sure.
Easily.
Easily.
Uh, yeah, number 1 star. Save this guy for last. Karavek the Merciless, 5 black, red, legendary human shaman. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, Karavek the Merciless deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's converted mana cost. So this punishes them by like, I'm just gonna kill your stuff every time you cast a thing, or just hurt you for casting things.
Oh.
Or in a weird alternate universe, you can be like, listen, if we want to team up, why don't you just cast big things and I'll throw all the damage on this guy over here?
Because it's target creature or player. Like, it doesn't have to be the person who casts those spells. I didn't even really think about that. That's nuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's a crazy EDH card right there.
This guy's mean.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I just, you know what? I just did always assume it was deals damage to that player or the creature that they own, but it's not even that. Wow.
No, not even. Yeah.
Yep. Number 1 star. Karavek the Merciless.
Yeah. So this deck wants to get mean.
It sure does. Yeah, I'll say.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Kind of has shades of the. I always bring this deck up because I always think about it. I got to build this deck in real life. My Mogus Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
The love versus hate. The hate deck.
Yeah. I remember. Yeah. Choices.
Just all about hurting the person you love. Yeah. This deck is very similar to that. Cool. Well, did we have any surprises or discoveries? Anything new pop up, or anything that you thought, would be just okay, ended up being kind of good?
Well, how about a surprise of like how mean this deck really wants to get? Check it out. Put on some shades.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Right? Because like the surprise and discovery is how mean this deck wants to go. You know what this deck also runs? Ruination. 3 red. Destroy all non-basic lands. How mean is that?
How you like that, bruh?
Yeah, we got some land destruction in this deck, bruh.
Bruh? Oh, yo, too bad, guy. Social contracts out the window with me.
Bruh?
Bruh? Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah.
Go.
Great. So like we got Ruination, and you might be saying to yourself, hey, don't you run 4 colors? Surely you're chock full of non-basic lands. Yeah, we are. Well, we got some backup.
That's right. We got our boy Ramunap Excavator. 2 to green, 2/3. You may play land cards from your graveyard. So guess what? We don't even care about putting them lands in the graveyard.
Don't even care.
Don't even care. You got an extra tab in here. Did you want to say anything about that one?
Oh, I forgot. You can say it if you want to. I thought that was a legit surprise and discovery, but this is the more fun land destruction mean guy.
Okay, well, this one is Invader Parasite. 3 and 2 red for a 3/2 insect with imprint. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you exile target land. Forget about it. Your land's gone. Whenever a land with the same name as the exiled card enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, Invader Parasite deals 2 damage to that player. So this is just going to punish a person for playing the most common basic land that you can find.
And in a worst case, you can get rid of a specialty land that's really giving you a hard time.
Yeah, Invader Parasite. Decent little card.
But while we're doing land destruction, how about this? Ruination costs what? It would cost 4.
Mm-hmm.
But if we got enough mana out, I'm going to cast my Ruination, but I'm going to float 3 and a green, and then cast Splendid Reclamation.
Oh.
Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped, bruh.
Bruh?
I lost no lands, bruh.
Guess what, bruh? We got our lands back.
Bruh.
We're not even feeling that Ruination, but you got Ruinationed.
Yo, is that too mean for you, bruh?
Bruh.
Okay, I'm taking the shades off.
Okay, the shades are off. We're not being jerks anymore. Now we're just
back
being
to
regular
normal
fun guys. No land destruction to speak of here.
It was very fun to see this deck take like on so many different personalities.
It does have a couple different personalities, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we get to the budget report, we got to talk about Wizard's Tower again real quick. Wizardtower.com. Go check it out. You can order singles, like we say in the ad. You got free shipping on those, Canada and U.S. in orders of $15 or more. And like I was saying a couple episodes ago, I went to like find like I was doing a little comparison shopping between some U.S. stores and Wizard Tower because it's a Canadian store, so it shows you Canadian dollars. And a couple of times, like you're finding Wizard Tower beating American prices with Canadian dollars, which is really crazy for our listeners in the U.S. Because if you're spending that amount in Canadian dollars, it's way less for you guys. So get that order of $15 up, and then that's free shipping, and it's just way cheaper. So there's a bunch of cards that are like that. So go check them out. A lot of iconic Masters stuff up there now, which is great. People like have drafted their iconic Masters. This seems like they've sent them in, and now there's a good amount of product up there to grab. And speaking of which, send them in to Wizards Tower. You get great deals on sending stuff in. You get store credit back. It's great.
15% bonus store credit.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So check out wizardtower.com and mtgcanada.com. You can find some fun EDH articles written by yours truly's. But now
yours is truly's.
Yours is truly's. Okay, but now it's time for the budget report.
This is where we take all the cards away from you.
That's it.
Mean. This deck came in just a hair under $50, $49.55. Most expensive card in the deck at over $5. Painful Quandary.
Ooh.
Right? And that's it's just wait a second. I said $5 on one website, but now here it says it's $3.
Yeah, it says $3 here. Well, you know what? It's pretty expensive. It can be different prices on different places. So I thought this was always a $5 card for sure.
Anyway, I think it's because there's not a ton of stuff that does this type of thing. Like it's a tough effect to really get rolling, and this is one of the best. So yeah, if there were more cards, this would be way cheaper.
Yeah, agreed. Painful Quandary. It's worth having in there because of that rarity of that effect. The number 2 most expensive card in the deck is Karavik the Merciless. He's coming in at around $3.50. It looks like just around $3. This is just such a big effect. It's 7 mana for a 5/4. It stings if they get rid of him, but it's just such a big effect. It's so good. You want to keep that one.
Whatever they do to get rid of them, you're going to get an activation out of it, right? Like if they cast a spell.
Exactly. This guy's the number 1 star of the deck. So I mean, these are the number 1 and 2 stars we're talking about here. These are big cuts if you're making them. And finally, what do we have here?
Oketra the True from Emonket, $3, 3 and a white for a god, 3/6, double strike and indestructible. Oketra can't attack or block unless you control at least 3 other creatures. Very easy in this token brew. 3 and a white, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. Not the best mana sink, but a mana sink nonetheless. We can make more creatures that way. But this double strike and indestructible, it's a fantastic attacker. And again, under the lens of Saskia, double strike with double damage.
Yeah.
That's 12 damage if you let Oketra through.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And finally, speaking of budget, what about some out-of-budget options that are very good specifically for this deck?
Yeah, so on theme, you want to take this one? You discovered this last week.
Yeah, polluted
drain card.
Yeah, polluted bonds, 3 and 2 black for an enchantment that says whenever land comes into play under an opponent's control, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Punishing a player just for playing lands is always something that everybody hates. And now I got to get rid of this kitty on the desk. Okay. Polluted bonds. It's so good because it's gaining you life. It's draining them. It's really great. But it's over $6. This is not a cheap one these days.
I can't figure out why it would be that much.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
too expensive for modern, isn't it?
A 5 mana enchantment that doesn't do anything on your turn.
Like there's no way they're playing this in any other format. Is it just rarity?
Maybe. It's in Shadowmoor. I feel like some of the stuff because Shadowmoor was the one with like 4 sets in the like Shadowmoor Eventide and Lorwyn and whatever the other one is. Because there was four ones there, and I think some of those blocks just didn't get opened as much because there was 4 in that block, right?
Right.
I think I've heard people say that before. I could be wrong, but I think I've heard other people say that.
Anyway, if you've already got one, probably fits the theme. Whenever your opponents do stuff, it hurts them. So go throw that in.
Yeah.
Another one, briefly mentioned earlier from the Choices reference, Mogus God of Slaughter, 2 black red for a legendary enchantment creature god, 7/5 indestructible. If that devotion to 7 to black and red is 7, you get to attack and block as a creature. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, Mogus deals 2 damage to that player unless he or she sacrifices a creature. Now, technically, that's not from your opponent's doing things. That's just happening anyway. But thematically, I would love to fit it in, but I don't have room for this $5 card right now.
Yeah. Mogus, apparently a very popular, like, super casual card.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that makes this guy, like, over $5. Is Commander and just casual kitchen table Magic players loving this card.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't underestimate the casual price effect. It can be big.
CPE.
Yeah. And finally, we have Aurelia, the War Leader, for 2 red and 2 white. She's a legendary angel. She's a 3/4 with flying, vigilance, and haste. And whenever Aurelia, the War Leader, attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase.
Yeah.
Just an all-star with Saskia. I mean, this is
just
a great card to include with Saskia. I'm talking about damage all over the place with this.
Yeah, $5 or $6, probably 5.5, 6, depending on where you get her. Probably too much for this deck.
Maybe, yeah, right. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just sometimes it's just tough to fit these in under that $50 budget. But that's why we started to include these like out of budget cards, because like if you wanted to swap a Painful Quandary for an Aurelia, if that's the style you want to go with more, then like, you know, it's worth mentioning, right? So
yeah, we're on a dangerous teeter-totter here where like we're close enough to be a Saskia token deck that like some of that other choices stuff, the like, hurt from our friends, could just be cut. Like you could just cut those and put more Saskia cards in if you really wanted to.
And then we're just talking about kind of a Saskia token, like kind of a run-of-the-mill Saskia token thing, which is
yeah, well, you get the evolution.
What we're looking for. But yeah, I like the evolution. I like the two-sided thing. I like the attacking from multiple angles.
Yeah.
You know, side of this thing.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. And that's everything. There you go.
That is it.
We did
Fun
it.
deck. Last one of 2017.
Yeah.
A little bit of meanness in there, which is maybe a bit reflective of the year.
Remember when we all thought 2016 was just so terrible?
Oh, we didn't even know.
We didn't even know. We had no idea.
We didn't even know.
Yeah.
So now can we assume 2018 will definitely be better? Or is that just dangerous, like don't tempt fate kind of stuff?
I think some things have been put in place this year that it will start to pay off in the future. So I do think 2018, I think we're starting to climb back up. I think we're starting our ascent now going into 2018. There may be another thing or two that will be brutal, like, I don't know, repealing net neutrality and things of that nature.
Oh boy.
All the stuff that happened in Magic this year. But I do think we got a bright future ahead. I think we're looking better.
Yeah.
And we're always looking good. You know, we're going to be here every week brewing up some fun Commander decks, and we're going to be at our Brew and Brawls at the end of the month and all this. So we got lots of stuff. So the Brew Brawl this month is New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
It's the 31st. So I think we're going to still be able to pull it off, though. It's just a matter of the timing on it. We'll see.
Yeah.
But anyways, I can't wait to bring in the new year with everyone and see what fun stuff 2018 has in store for us Commander players.
Oh man, me neither. Well, tweet us some resolutions you might be making, your Commander resolution. We'll talk about those next week anyway.
That's right. Yeah, get at us with some of those.
And don't forget the exclusive update on December 28th through 31st.
We will have that hot update.
Yeah,
coming at you next week in our year in review segment and our year in review show. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in.
Yeah, man. Enjoy some Brews news.
Yep. Here we go. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Brews News. I'm Andy.
And I'm Sean. This week, we bring you a weather report from the Blind Eternities. Over to you, Keith.
Thank you, Sean and Andy. Yeah, here in the Blind Eternities, I don't know what the weather is like. I have been floating here for... feels like it could be 50 years, I'm not sure, or it could be 5 seconds. Time is meaningless here, but I'm just gonna do what Keith knows. Keith, you went to school for this, you know what to do, Keith. Okay, so, here in the Blind Eternities tomorrow, or next millennium, imagine a warm front coming here. Can you still feel temperature? Because I can't. I can't feel anything, and I don't know what I'm thinking one moment to the next. But I do know that you better pack an umbrella, because up here, it's gonna get rainy. I would love to feel a drop, to hear thunder, to get any sense that is not just complete sensory deprivation. I'm just assuming, Andy and Sean, that you threw to me anyway. I do this all the time. This is a mythological torture. I do know that it's gonna be great this weekend. Temperatures are looking up. You are gonna wanna bring some sunscreen. Bring me anything. Bring me, or get me out of here. I wish for death, because this is worse. I regret choosing this assignment. Brews News was not a good internship for me. Am I dead? Is this the afterlife? Was I a bad person? Am I here because I was a bad person? What did I do? I don't even know. But I do know that every now and again, the only thing I can sense is a thing with tentacles that flies by, and he looks at me, I think, just looks into my soul, and then floats away. Now the 5-day forecast. Voids. 5 days of voids. 5 years of voids. 5 millennia of voids. I don't even know. It's all voids. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? Am I imagining screaming, or do you hear screaming? I don't know. Anyway, try to stay out of the sun too long. Back to you, Andy and Sean. Back to anything else, please.
Oh, wow. It seems like Keith's maybe had better weeks.
I really don't know why we sent a weather correspondent to the Blind Eternities.
Hey, we just want to find out what it's like there.
It's a void.
Turns out it's like Ozzie Smith lost in that Simpsons episode.
I remember that one.
Okay. Well, we're all tapped out, so we'll pass the turn over to you. Good night.
Good night.
If you want to contact us, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
And I'm at Andy Holbone.
Send us an email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
You can find out when we go live on Twitch if you follow us at twitch.tv.
And if you care to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com.
And you can find our deck list on tappedout.net.
And if we forgot anything, commandersbrew.com.